Yesterday, after the infamous Alex Jones interview, Kanye West got banned off Twitter for what I assume to be something that Milo Yiannopoulos had a hand in it, because this is his type of trolling. You see, Kanye West posted what appears to be a Jewish star with a swastika in the middle. Now, probably nobody besides a very few people knew that this is actually the symbol of a UFO religion. Like it's a very fringe thing, but it already existed like before Kanye made it. So I guess like the whole thing is like he's now getting banned for hate speech. And you have all of these people, the naysayers on Twitter. It's like, oh, well, he got banned for not breaking any rules because that's a UFO religion thing. Like, why is Elon Musk banning him? Like, clearly Elon Musk does not have a free platform. You should go on Parler instead. I think that this was the plan all along. So initially, he got a suspension for a couple of hours, but then it was upgraded to a permanent ban. And this is when all the naysayers are coming. It's like, but what about the free speech, Elon? What about... Well, maybe you should ask the European Union, because I think they're doing a lot of pressuring, and this is something that Elon has to deal with and balance it in the future. The European Union wants to ban Twitter. Unless Twitter allows the European Union to do some independent moderation and allows them to gain control over what is permissible or what isn't permissible on the app, they're going to ban Twitter. Now, I don't know if the European Union can even legally do this. There is no precedent, as far as I know, for the European Union to decide if a website gets to be banned. I mean, I'm pretty sure they would salivate at the thought of controlling what the members get to see or not see on the internet. But the way the EU works is that it would have to first pass legislation, and then all the member states would also have to pass similar legislations in their country. But the problem is that, for example, in Romania, we do have free speech in the constitution. And, since we've been under communism, we also have express laws that prevent the censorship of the press, whether it's online, digital, or in paper format. And some can make the argument that, well, Twitter is now the modern press. That's where the citizen journalists go, and that's where a lot of journalists also operate. So to ban Twitter in Romania would probably be unconstitutional, and I don't think that the European Union has the power to do so. With that out of the way, that they're definitely trying to, especially Germany, right? So you can understand why this whole anti-Semitic problem is a huge issue for Elon Musk when he has the European Union legislator and the German government breathing down his neck. And then he also has Apple to deal with, and there's a lot of other political powers that want Twitter to be censored. The White House, for example, is looking at Twitter very closely, but is not looking closely at Apple, which is helping the Chinese government crack on this end. It's not looking closely at TikTok either, but it's looking very closely at Twitter. So, yeah, Elon Musk is now in a very precarious position. The last thing he needs is this shit. So I can see why he banned him. I can see why the decision came down. Initially, he didn't want to ban Kanye. Like, he actually did unban him. But now, it seems that, according to Elon's tweet, look, I tried, c'est la vie. So, I don't think that merging with Parler is on the table now, because initially, this is what Elon was talking about. He wanted the fusion, like he tweeted this meme, the fusion between Parler and Twitter. I don't think that's going to happen now. But all in all, I am concerned about the European Union, right? Because I live in the European Union, and it's turning more and more like the Soviet Union. I mean, this level of like, okay, so you have this app where people can talk freely, like the newspapers pretty much, and your first thought is to censor it. Like we, at least here in Eastern Europe, not by we, I mean my parents, they fought against communism. Some of my countrymen died on the streets in the revolution against communism. One of their main grievances against the communist government was censorship. That you couldn't say whatever you wanted, that the government controlled what is true and what is false. The academic consensus was that socialism is the best economic system that the world has ever made. And if you disagreed with it, you are a filthy capitalist and you needed to get fired. And here we have the same situation where the German government and the European Union and many other member states are very concerned about Twitter. And I'm thinking, like, you have the police, right? Like, if someone does something illegal, pass it into legislation and then arrest them. But no, they're not going to do that because they understand the danger here is just people talking to each other. And the only reason they care is not to protect minority groups. The only reason they care is because it's a threat to the establishment, to the people in power who the only thing that they are afraid of the most is to lose their chairs. Notice how they don't care about the scams that go on the internet. I mean, many times you hear about cases where a person got scammed and they lost their money. You don't hear the European Union talk about those. You don't hear about them talking about when Twitter was accused of having pedophilia on the platform. I mean, that's something that pops up. You don't seem them to be concerned with, like, okay, so if you have a predator that uses social media in order to find victims, maybe after he's arrested, the law should take away his ability to use social media. They don't talk about those either. The only thing that they care is people talking about changing the current establishment. That's literally it. And that's the only reason that they're afraid of. So this is why they want to ban Twitter. They want to control Twitter. I mean, after the pandemic, they never had so much control over social media to just flat out be able to pressure private companies into banning and censoring things that they don't like. And now that they lost that control, they want it back. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Elon is doing, if they're going to call the bluff on the European Union or not. The thing is, Twitter is not that popular in the EU. I mean, here in Romania, most people use Facebook. Most people use YouTube. Very few people actually use Twitter. It's incredibly unpopular. And because of that, if the European Union were to find a way to ban it, most people wouldn't complain. Because it would be like a website that you don't really care about. It would be kind of like, I guess most of my listeners can resonate with this. It would be like if the US banned TikTok. Like, most of my listeners, at least that I know, probably wouldn't care. They would be like, meh, because it's a website you don't use anyway. So it wouldn't be like part of the principle that the government is controlling the internet or whatnot. It would just be like, oh, well, you know, it was Chinese misinformation anyway, so who cares? And that's kind of how it would be viewed here if the European Union decided to ban TikTok. Most people would definitely not protest. Most people would definitely not care. Now, sure, some people could use VPN and get around the ban. I don't even know if the European Union has the technology required to ban it. But assuming that they would manage to find a way, most people wouldn't just use a VPN like that. So Elon Musk would lose a big chunk of the market, which is why he's probably trying to be very careful with this. And he's trying to pick his battles. Like, we just saw him engage in a struggle with Apple previously, and now the struggle is with the European Union. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.